evening, ladies and gentlemen. Highclassprepper. This is part 2 of the homemade high-class wine. We're going to be racking our wine today. As you can see by the airlock, the bubbles have slowed down. Not stopped, but slowed down significantly. The sole purpose of racking is to leave the sediment behind. And what we're going to do is we're going to siphon the wine from our fermentation bucket to a glass carboy. We'll be using a racking cane. And again, make sure when you do this process that all of your equipment has been sanitized very, very well. We don't want to introduce any kind of bacteria to the wine at this point, especially since we've waited 12 days to get to this step. As you can see, we have our fermentation bucket on a higher level than we have our glass carboy. That's to help the siphon. Gravity wins. This will be the first time we've opened our fermentation bucket in 12 days. And already you get the aroma, the wine aroma, and the very, very strong scent of alcohol. We're going to keep our airlock. We will be sanitizing the airlock before we use it in the carboy. Let me let you look in the bucket. All of our raisins have plumped up very nice and floated to the top. As we rack this, we'll be leaving all of this behind. The racking cane is a glass tube with food grade hose attached. This one has a clip built on to clip onto the bucket. The end of this racking cane has a black stopper. The wine will not go through the bottom of the racking cane. As you clip this onto the bucket, the wine will come through at the top of the black cap, therefore letting the sediment stay on the bottom of the bucket. So we have our racking cane installed. We have the other end of our hose and our glass carboy. They make a automatic siphon that you pump. You kind of draw the racking cane through it. We're not going to be using one. My servant, my butler, will be sucking on the end of that racking tube to get the siphon started. And we will go from there. Now that we have our siphon running, we're just going to hurry up and wait and let the wine fill the carboy. And again, the first racking, we're going to rack this wine 3 times. This first racking, we're not worried about getting every bit of sediment out. We're worried about getting the raisins out and as much sediment as we can, but not every bit. The sediment left behind in this racking will help for the next racking to not have as much sediment, and so on. By the third racking, the wine will be a nice, clarified, almost see-through. Right now it'll probably be a little bit hazy from the sediment that's still left in it. But we're going to let this do its job. During this first racking, I like to tilt the bucket and get as much of the wine as I can. Now by the end of the third racking, when we get there, that's when you're not going to want to give up any of the wine. This, like I said, it's not as much as getting it every drop of the sediment out as it is getting the raisins and getting some of the sediment, as you see up top. So our racking, our siphon is done, and we have our glass carboy filled with the wine. Now, what we'll do, we're going to sanitize our stopper and our airlock. So there we have our racked wine with the airlock and the stopper and the gallon glass jug beside it. I had some few PMs about what I sanitize my equipment with. I use a powder called Easy Clean, and I mix it up in that 1 gallon jug. It's 1 tablespoon per gallon, and you can reuse it over and over and over, but I don't put it in a bucket or something like that to clean my equipment. I just splash it over it to get it done. So that's wine racking, the first racking. 7 to 12 days we'll be back with you to rack it again. This is High Class Prepper. Stay classy, my friends.